Hi guys, my name is Anand Hasbi and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Rambling of an Analyst. So over here, I'm going to tell you the secret to wealth. And this, my friend, is the secret to wealth. So I know if you guys are wondering what the heck am I saying, I got this idea for this particular episode during this PKP weekend when we were trying to fill an inflatable pool. Right, so I bought this huge box, okay, and this inflatable pool was about my size, and I started blowing and blowing and blowing and blowing, and after 2 hours, the inflatable pool, there was not any air, there was barely any air in the inflatable pool. So the next thing I did was the first thing I did to help put some water in, to put some air in an inflatable pool was I bought a little machine, and that machine was an air to actually blow some air into the pool. And me taking 2 hours blowing that pool versus me using that particular machine took me 30 minutes. Okay, so that was the first example, right? So the inflatable pool is out of the house already, and we were all ready to we were really excited to actually jump inside, right? And the next thing was we wanted to put some water in the pool. So we started with a small little bucket, and we moved back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the whole thing of it all was, it made me think of there must be a better way. And eventually we bought a hose, and with that hose, it saved a lot of energy, it saved a lot of time, and it saved a lot of efficiency. So, okay, in this episode right over here, I know that this is a really silly example to illustrate this particular point, which is this. Every time when we do work, there's always this 80-20. That 20% is going to give us 80% of the result. So back in the day when I was working in asset management, right? We spent a lot of time actually writing papers for our board of directors, and we had a lot of board of directors we had to report to. The bigger the fund, the more the board of directors we have to report to. And I remembered that every time when we wrote a paper, we will write the paper once, but we will edit it. We will edit the paper for about 10, 20, or 30 times. So the main task is already done. Assuming we spend 2 hours writing that paper, we probably spend on average maybe 10 hours of editing the paper, right? So the next thing I want to say is that the 80-20 rule can also be applied to our life and also to our investment. The next example I want to put is this particular channel over here. Every time when I want to create content, I will spend I'll get the idea in my head and I will just kind of write it down. Maybe 1 hour of writing ideas, scripting and everything. But it will take me at least 10 hours of rewriting the ideas, editing the video and whatnot. And one of the reasons why I've been going live is to focus on the 20% that will give me 80% on the result. Once the video is out, then that will be the final take. So in our investments, right, most important is how do we even understand what the 80-20 for investments. So over here, I will tell you a little bit about my investment style, and hopefully you guys can learn of this. Back in the day when I was investing, when I first started investing, I remember talking to a lot of my uncles, which were day traders, remisers, and a lot of them used to give me very conflicting ideas and whatnot. But the basic underlying theme is that back then, many people did not know why they bought the stock. They bought based on a rumor, or they bought based on news they read on the newspaper, or they bought based on a recommendation of friends, right? So I spent about maybe 3 or 4 years. So I started 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 up until 19 years old, I just invested based on what my relatives and also my dad's friends used to say. And back then, I did not know why I wasn't making money. It was so frustrating. It was annoying. And that was the 80% of work. So I did a lot of activity, but it was zero productivity, right? So what really changed things for me and what really gave me that 20% that gave me the 80% of result was that I started learning about stuff. And when you learn and when you pick up the language and you understand the market and you understand companies, that's where the results were astounding. I think as you guys can see, we managed to find a couple of really good stocks on this channel. I think one of them was even the roti canai seller. You know, while everyone is talking about gloves and whatnot, I remember looking at a roti canai seller. I think about 4 or 5 months down the road, it made 200% of returns. And one of the reasons why is very simple. I always use this simple rules of investing. Number one, we have to remember we are investing in businesses, and number two, it needs to make sense. So back in the day when they had the first lockdown, I remember we could not go to a mama, right? And this was where I got an idea. I said, okay, so right now I cannot go to a mama. So what do I have to do? It is a weekly thing which I always do on a Saturday morning. Then I Googled, then I went to the grocery shop to actually find frozen roti canai, and I cooked it for the whole household. And then after that, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe there is investment ideas during this crisis or despite this pandemic. I'm sure there is companies which are thriving. And it dawned to me that maybe it could be the frozen roti canai seller. I Googled it, and if you look at one of my older episodes, you will see how this channel managed to find a roti canai seller 200% in about 4 or 5 months. So over here, what I want to say over here is that after, you know, the cute story of me blowing air in an inflatable pool, you know, walking back and forth with a big can just to put water into the pool, the whole premise or a simplistic example of what that 20% can give us 80% on the result. Today, ask yourself, we all know this answer. What is that 20% that will give us 80% of results? Assuming if we work, right? There's one measurement yardstick which I use, which is ROTI, R-O-T-I, that's it. So it's return on time invested, right? Ask yourself this, what can I do which will allow me to get my results much faster? That's the first question. The second question, if we do investments, ask yourself this question, what is the way that I can consistently make money from my investments? And based on that, write it down on a piece of paper and just take the action bit by bit. Over here, I want to conclude saying that we live in an information age where there's just so much of information. We are one of the luckiest generations, I think, alive, and it will be quite unfortunate if we do not leverage off the information, take action, and also make money off that. Thanks for the time. Hello to you, and yeah, I'll be shooting, I guess, more live episodes. Like I said, even this channel, I'm going to focus on the 20% that will give me 80% of the results. And I think you can see, in fact, in this channel also, I've been hiving off some of my robo-advisory holdings, and I've been investing in more of my stock picks. So over here, I'm also going to share with you some of my stock picks in the coming days ahead. Look out for this video, which I'm currently editing right now, which is the budget for Malaysia. Over here, thanks, Daniel. You are, I think, my #1 fan already. So yeah, I'm actually focusing on that little. I looked at the budget and I realized a couple of things. You know what? Since we're all here, I might as well just talk about it. So if you look at the budget, look at how the government is spending their money. Look at where the allocations are and look at where the money is allocated. Every time when there's money allocated, there is a way for businesses to make money. So over here, I'm just going to do a quick recap of the budget. Look at where the government is spending their money and look at the beneficiary companies that may enjoy this spending of the government. All right, guys, with that, happy PKP. And yes, hope to see you in a new episode. I'm going to promise to, or promise to myself, actually, not to anyone out loud, but I think in the next, maybe 4 or 5 months, I'm going to have schedules to actually go online. That way you guys can catch me. I think one of the reasons why I'm doing this is that I'm still really nervous every time when I talk on live. I'm afraid my glasses may fall off or my clothes may fall off or something like that. It's really ridiculous. But I guess, you know, I'm still a beginner and I still get that nervous jitters. So so with that, guys, take care and always be hustling, always be making money. Also, thank you so much for the thumbs up, and thank you, Daniel, for the remarks. Thank you.